Hello, everyone, and welcome to Love Chat with the Love Twins. I'm sorry that I was a few minutes late here. Oh, if you can see me, give me a thumbs up because I cannot tell. It says live, but my screen just went black. So just give me a thumbs up because today you want to be leaning in. We have a very hot topic to cover today. All right, let me just check in with my team. If they can see me. All right, awesome. Okay, so yay. Hey, Andrea. All right, so I am going to just go ahead and jump in. I'm going to go ahead and jump in because I have got a lot that I want to cover with you today. So first of all, I want to start with welcome, beautiful ladies, to this edition of Love Chat with the Love Twins. Tonight is juicy. We are going to be exposing a modern dating trap. So this is a trap that many women get caught in. Men get caught in this too. It's a modern dating trap that's keeping way too many of you incredible, high value women stuck, drained, and confused. And that trap is called the situationship. So if you've ever been in that frustrating gray area, that area where he's giving you just enough that it feels like you're in a relationship, but there's no real commitment, there's no real promise for a future together. You're just getting enough attention and you've been stuck in a situationship. I want you to know you're not alone. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever found yourself in a situationship? If you have, go ahead and type S for situationship, just so that I know. And I want you to know that this happens to all of us. It happened to me a lot. And many times we don't even realize we're in a situationship because everything on the outside looks like we're actually in a relationship. And one of the pain points of the women who come to work with us that starts to become very clear to them is that there's no real understanding of what is and isn't a relationship. So spending time with somebody, talking to them all the time, even meeting their friends, that doesn't mean you're in a relationship. When a man wants to be in a relationship with you, he's going to let you know. So thank you, ladies, for being honest. Thank you for being honest and typing S in the chat. I know that I found myself in situationships and I didn't even know that I was in them. In the past, before I had my own love journey transformation, if I met a guy and I liked him and he liked me and we spent a lot of time together, I thought we were in a relationship. And we absolutely were not. So I want to share what I know about this, what I've learned from my own personal journey and what I've learned from all the years of experience in being a dating and relationship coach that's going to make a difference for you. So if you are done for settling for almost love, I want you to type the word done in the chat. I want you to type done if you're done with that, because you deserve more and you get that. You may not know how yet, but we're going to get there today. All right. So if you're done with settling for almost love, type the word done. Awesome. Okay. So this is why this matters. Situationships, like I said, sometimes you don't even know when you're in them. They're sneaky. They can be very sneaky. Because it feels many times like you're in a relationship, but I want to get real with you here. You know, and I know that when you're in a situationship, something feels off. Give me just a second. I got to let my dog out. Real life situation. I was trying to tell my husband to get him, but he was outside on his own coaching call. All right. So if you tell yourself the truth, in a situationship, something always feels off, a little off. There's a feeling of uncertainty because it's inconsistent. And many times it's going to leave you wondering, where is this going? And you've heard us say, if you've been with us, and if you haven't been with us, and this is your first time here, you can type the number 1 in the chat so we can welcome you. That if you have to ask yourself, where is this going? The answer is probably nowhere. Because a man who's interested in you is going to let you know what his intentions are as soon as he knows them. He may not know that on the first date, he may not know that on the second date, but if you've been dating someone for a while and you're still feeling uncertain, inconsistent, where's this going? Tonight, we're going to blow the lid off of this. Okay. We're going to blow the lid off of this, breaking down what are some of the things you need to watch for to know if you're in a situationship or a situationship is coming. You may be in one and not even realize it right now. So that's the first thing we're going to look at. We're also going to look at how can you stop wasting time and shift from almost love to true love. We're also going to talk about the mindset shift that gets to happen for you, the high value woman, so that you stop attracting men who won't commit. Not only do they not want to commit, they just won't commit. And then the number one way to attract a man who's all in for you. Okay? So grab a pen, grab some paper, pay attention, because here we go. So the first thing is that may be coming up for some of you. What is a situationship? So it's an in-between space. It's a space where you're more than friends and you're not in a clear, committed relationship. You spend a lot of time together, you have fun together, it's very passionate, it's very exciting. And when you really sit with it, you realize it's also frustrating, it can be nerve-wracking, and it's highly unfulfilling. Highly unfulfilling. And that's because situationships are built on convenience, not commitment. That's something to write down. That's a quotable moment. Situationships are built on convenience, not commitment. Convenience of access to one another, convenience of time together, convenience of being physically intimate, and not committing to everything that really creates a long-lasting, true relationship. So how can you tell if you're in a situationship? Here's some things you want to look for. If you never know where you stand with this person, because one day he's blowing up your phone, he's right there, he's paying a lot of attention, and then the next day he's MIA. Then if that happens often, now in dating, guys are going to be there and then they're not, and then they're going to be there and they're not. I'm talking about not 1 week in, not 2 weeks in. We're talking now, you've been seeing somebody for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and there's still this feeling of he's here, he's not, he's here, he's not. And it's creating this experience of you don't know where you stand because nobody's having a conversation about it. And by the way, you're not the one who's going to bring it up. You get to lead in a feminine way, which is you're there, open and available for a relationship with someone who is a match for you, not just anybody who happens to show some interest in you. Somebody who has the character of the kind of person you want to experience a relationship with. They have the similar values that you have. I'm talking about that. You've spent some time together. It's going on a month, 2 months, 3 months, and you're still not sure where this is going. Watch out. You could be in a relationship. A situationship. The other sign is that there's no real progression. There's no real progress in moving forward into a relationship. So maybe you've been talking for a while, you're seeing each other for months. Sometimes this happens for years and nothing has moved forward. You're still in the same place that you were before. You're in a situationship. Here's another telltale sign. You feel anxious about being in this relationship that is a situationship. When you're in a relationship, a healthy relationship, it should bring you peace, not anxiety. You don't have to overthink every text and every message and everything. And you don't have to be on your, walking on eggshells, deciding what you can and can't be. So if you're feeling that way and you're not at ease, at peace. Now, some of you may feel at ease and at peace being in non-committal relationships. Well, then just know that you're probably going to end up in situationships. And here's what I'll tell you. When you spend that much time with somebody, someone's heart is going to go all in. You better hope the other person's heart is at the same pace as yours. Because the more time and attention and energy and focus you give to somebody, eventually those feelings will be there. And if you keep doing that and you don't know how to date and you keep pretending you're in something that you're not, you're going to get your heart broken. And we've seen this happen so many times to women. So if you don't have a sense of peace and a knowingness of what this is, that's a sign that you're in a situationship. And then one more would be he avoids any conversation that has to do with relationship. So if he gets defensive, if somebody says, "Oh, are you two together?" and he acts all weird and nervous and defensive, pay attention. He's very vague about future promises. For example, the holidays are coming up, and you're saying, "Oh, and again, you've been dating this person for a while. I'm not talking about the guy you met last week. This is important because a lot of us are going out on relationships instead of going out on dates. If you don't know how to date, I used to be somebody who did that. I thought everybody I liked, I was in a relationship with, and I never gave myself the opportunity to get to know somebody, to see, is this someone that I really want to spend time with? Am I feeling comfortable and secure in myself when I'm with this person? I wasn't even thinking that way. It was all about being with someone. That was in my desperation phase. So I'm talking about someone you've dated for a few months, maybe even a year, 8 months, 9 months, and the holidays are coming. Let's just say, I don't know, the holidays, Christmas is coming, or it's your birthday, something like that. Or it's his birthday. Oh, what are your plans? And he's like, oh, I'm going out with my buddies. Or, well, I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing. And he never tells you when he's sure. That is a sign of avoidance. That's a sign of vagueness. Or he'll laugh things off and change the subject. Girl, you already know your answer. Stop pretending you don't know. Okay? So those are some of the flags that you get to look for. Signs that you get to look for. This is about being aware and awake. Okay? So what are you learning? What do you give me some feedback here. What did you learn from that? One thing you're taking away from that particular section, because if you don't know the signs, you could find yourself in it, and then 6 months into something, you realize this wasn't it. And that happened to me so many times. It happened to me with my now husband. Before, when I met my husband, Arnie, it was very early on in my transformation. I don't even think I was fully in my transformation. I just knew that something needed to change. And when I first started going out with him and I heard him say he didn't, he wasn't ready for commitment. We were at a table. He wasn't just talking to me. We were in a group. In my head, the conversation that always came up for me when a guy said that, in the silence of my mind, would be, oh, that's because he hasn't dated me yet. Instead of listening to what was happening and paying attention to what was actually happening. And I did that with him, and I ended up doing that with a lot of different guys. And then it was 3 months later when we were dating and we had already become intimate, that we were having a conversation about relationships, not even our relationship. And he reaffirmed what he had said, that he wasn't really looking for a relationship. That I said, oh, so nothing's changed around that. And he said, no. Now, this is I think it was 3.5 months later. Now I had already started doing the work we call the heart work now. And I was like, well, then I can't keep seeing you anymore because I have feelings for you. I'm falling for you. And I'm falling in love with you, but I love me more. You see the switch in that? I wasn't willing to wait around and see if he was going to wake up and figure it out. I already knew what I wanted. And one of the things I knew for sure I wanted was someone who was clear and committed. So let me see what you're learning here. If it doesn't feel good, it could be a situationship. Okay, Diane says, definitely in a situationship. Unfortunately, it feels better than being completely alone. Well, Diane, lucky you for being in the Ready for Love Now program. I invite you to actually be in the Ready for Love Now program, because you do not have to settle for attention and call that something that it's not. See, and Diane's not the only one. I appreciate you having the courage to say that. But here's the thing. I learned, and I want you all to learn and get, that being alone is actually better than settling for less than what you want. That's when you really get connected to your high value, and you get connected to who you really are, and you start telling the truth to yourself about what you really value, and you start taking a stand for that and honoring that, and you get crystal clear about what you want to experience, somebody comes to you with something that is a watered down version of that. And instead of saying, like I used to say, oh, maybe there's something I can do. He hasn't dated me yet. Da, da, da. No, it's like, no, thank you. I'm not available for that. So Diane, you get to go all in and take the coaching. Those of you who are at Love Vision Intensive know that the brain wants to hold on to what's familiar at the cost of your happiness. It will go for comfort and familiarity until you say, no, the way it's gone is not the way it's going to go. I'm not going to do what's automatically imprinted in my brain. I'm going to do what I consciously am choosing to do based on who I am, what I'm worth, what I value, and what I know now that I deserve. That's what gets to happen moving forward. Well, and then I see here, let's see what it doesn't feel good to be controlled. Well, if you're in a relationship and you're feeling controlled, that could be a sign not just that you're in a situationship. It could be that there's something there that is having you be attracted to controlling men and has them be attracted to you. Again, those of you who went to Love Vision Intensive this weekend, you learned that you are always manifesting, attracting, creating what's a match, energetic, magnetic match for who you are for yourself, how you relate to yourself, and what you think and believe. So if there's something there that you think and believe that brings up the energy of control, being controlled, guess who you're going to attract? Narcissistic men. If there's some energy there about not being enough, guess who you're going to control? Men who are attracted to women who don't think they're enough. So this is all really important work. I'm going to go back to situationship right now. I'm going to give you an opportunity in a little bit for those of you who've never had a call and you're really committed to having a love life that's extraordinary and you're not willing to keep putting up with BS and halfways and half promises, you're going to be able to schedule a call with a love coach, but only if you are committed to moving forward. If you're committed to staying where you are, why would you schedule a call with a coach? If you're committed to settling, then why would you schedule a call with a coach? You wouldn't. It wouldn't make sense. All right. I totally learned that if we accept less, we will most likely miss what is best. Absolutely, Jennifer. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So if you have found yourself in one or more situationships, or if you're in a situationship right now, we want you to know that it's not because you're not good enough to be in a relationship, in a committed relationship. That's not why you're there or why you've been there. Why you've been in or are in a situationship is because deep down, there's a part of you that hopes and believes that if you give more or prove your worth more or show him how amazing you are, he'll finally see your value and step up. This is why you're exhausted. This is why you're tired, and then you call it dating. No, that's not dating. That's a situationship. That's something unresolved that gets to be resolved so you can shift out of that desperation or the feeling of I'd rather just be alone, or the feeling of it's probably never going to happen for me, and that belief system, and shift your beliefs into something that's going to empower you to create what you actually want and what your heart desires. So nothing that you do more of or try to be more of or do less of and try to be less of is going to have someone who is not wanting to be in a relationship to finally step up. That is their work to do. Now, let's be real. When a man truly wants you, you do not have to convince him. There's no gray area with a man who's all in. Everybody should write that down. There's no gray area with a man who's all in. So the way to stop wasting time and shift into real, true love is you got to stop making excuses for him. No more he's just so busy. No more he's got a really hard life, or his exes were nuts, or maybe he's just scared of commitment, or maybe if I give him more time, he'll realize I'm the one. No more of that. There is no gray area for a man who's all in. You know, when Arnie was going through not wanting to be in a committed relationship, and then we did he did 5 months later tell me that he wanted to create that extraordinary relationship with me that I had shared about with all my friends. I had shared about it. And we started dating. And then 5 months later, he got scared again. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. There's got to be some clarity there. And I'm not going to keep going back and forth. My heart is too precious. My time is too precious. And we did take some time apart. He asked, we went to speak to a spiritual counselor. She said 30 days apart, no communication. She looked at me. She said, you are crystal clear. She said it just like that. After she spoke with me, she said, he's confused. And I said, well, I don't know what to say about that. There's nothing I can do about that. She said, are you willing to wait 28 days? And she was going to be working with him. I'm like, that's it, 28 days, and that's it. And I knew coming back to it that if I didn't hear that he was crystal clear, I was not going to be in that relationship. As much as I loved him, as much as it felt right in my heart, it didn't feel right in my body to be with somebody that was going to be in and out. And I was no longer willing to play that game. That's what I mean by drawing the line in the sand for yourself. You got to show that value. And, thank God that for both of us, that 28 days later, he said, I actually prayed about it after Gladys coached me. What would I need to hear to know? Because she was like, you're focusing so much on, is he going to say it? Is he not going to say it? Like, you need to know what you need to hear, what you want to feel and experience. And I remember I was praying and I heard that what I wanted to hear was, I can't imagine my life without you. And 28 days later, we sat across from each other. And the lady looked at me, nodded her head. She looked at him. She said, so, in Spanish. Entonces. And he said, he looked at me and his eyes welled up with tears and he said, I cannot imagine my life without you. And we both knew. And that was 18 years ago. 18 years ago. So when you're willing to take a stand for what you want, you're likely to get it. It may not be the guy who's in front of you right now. It may be the one who really wants to spend his life with you. So you got to stop making excuses, because let me tell you something. The right man will not need convincing. I was not going to convince him. He came to that realization on his own. So you get to stop making excuses. You also get to raise your own personal standards, not the standards you have for other people. Raise your own personal standards and watch who steps up. Watch who steps up. Because a high value woman doesn't wait around to see if he's going to figure it out. Those 28 days I was like, okay, we've been together now for 5 months. I'll see, if this is what I want, then I'll stay. It wasn't, let's see what he wants. If this is what I want, then I'll stay. So when a man isn't stepping up, you have two choices. You want to hear where they are? Here are your two choices. Accept the bare minimum and stay stuck, or decide that you are worthy of more and walk away. You're either going to accept the bare minimum and stay stuck, or you're going to decide that it's a decision. It's not based on what the past says. It's not based on what he says. It's not based on what anyone says. You decide you're worthy of more and you walk away. Because a man who truly wants to be with you will rise. He will rise up to where you are. This is why you want to raise your standards. He'll rise up there when he realizes that if he doesn't, you're not an option. You are no longer an option for him. That's when you get, and he gets, that you are the prize. So if you're starting to get that you're the prize, type I'm the prize in the chat. I want to see how many of you are starting to see this. I know it may feel like it's not easy. You're not going to do it alone. Okay, you are not going to do it alone. You can click on that link. It's not showing up as clickable, by the way, Diane. Not sure what you need to do to make that clickable, but if it's not clickable, just highlight that link that Diane dropped in. Yes, still not showing as clickable. So yeah, I'm the prize. Teresa says I'm the prize. Let me see, Teresa, you said that I would be proud of you. I'm having results. There's been a real shift. I'm expressing, and they are respecting and showing thus far. Awesome, Teresa. Yeah. So what do? You raise your standards. You express yourself using the skills that you're learning in your program or that you've learned in your program. And then you see as your self-worth rises up, as your standards rise up, as your confidence rises up, as your experience of you rises up, watch who shows up. Because I promise you that when you're operating at a very high standard for yourself, the ones who don't want, first of all, you can't even see them. And the ones who somehow get up there will bump off. They'll bump off. All right, so let's see. Teresa says, I'm the prize. Jennifer says, I'm the prize. Sophia, hey, Sophia. Good to see you again. Yes. Mary, yes, you are. You are the prize. If you're watching this replay, I want you to type hashtag replay. I am the prize. When you get that, don't just say it if it's not. You got to generate that for yourself. And then the third thing is, this is the biggest switch that happens with the women who work with us. And you're hearing it there in what Teresa put there. You got to switch from waiting for someone to choose you to choosing for yourself. So what I mean by that is a high value woman doesn't sit around wondering, is he going to commit to me? Is he going to choose me? Is he going to want to be with me? Instead, she asks herself, what do I want? How do I feel? And does this align with my love vision? There ain't nothing about him there. We spend a lot of time focusing on the guy, on the men. You want to shift your focus back to you. Do I want this? Is this what I want? Am I feeling the way I want to feel when I'm dating confidently, when I am dating inside of my own standards? Is this what I want to experience? Does this align with my love vision? And if the answer is no, you don't try harder. You walk away. You have the courage to walk away because you know that walking away from almost love is the first step to experiencing real love. You can't experience real love in an almost situationship. It's not going to happen. And then you've got to keep shifting your energy. Remind yourself that you are worthy, that you are lovable, that you attract that which matches you, your values, and your love vision. I attract that which matches who I am, what I value, and my love vision. You start embodying that today, you will not be chasing anybody. You will not be waiting for somebody to choose you. You will start radiating an energy of absolute self-love and self-confidence. And if that intimidates a man, he's not the right man for you. So you don't have to sweat that. You don't even have to sweat that. When you move in the world like that level of high quality, irresistible woman, you naturally repel situationships. The men who are emotionally unavailable, the narcissists, the ones who don't know what they want, the ones who are confused, the cheaters, the ones who just want to play, they're going to fade away. And the men who are ready will have room to step up. You're creating room for them to step up. But it starts with you setting that tone. So your new mantra needs to be, I'm done settling for almost. I'm in it for the real deal. I'm done settling for almost. I'm in it for the real deal. If you're in it for real love, type real love in the chat. Real love. Not Mickey Mouse. Not, I'm not sure. Not, it's very complicated. It is not complicated. There is no gray area for a man who's all in, just like there is no gray area for a woman who's all in. Okay? So, real true love. Maria is ready for it. Y'all need to start like really believing that you're worth it. And if you don't feel it, you get to click on that link and say, I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to choose me. I'm ready to leave all this behind. It's not who I am. It's who I became. I want real love. So just to wrap up, situationships are not based on commitment. They are based on convenience. A man who wants you will make it clear without any confusion that he's in. And you have the power to shift from waiting to be chosen to being the one who chooses by becoming a woman who believes that she deserves a love that's all in, because you're all in for you. All right. So give me just a second here. I just remembered I needed to find something out. Okay. Never mind. Make sure you keep your eye on your emails. So stay on our email list. Stay here in this Facebook group. Or YouTube, and get on our mailing list, because, and Diane, can you just put what can we drop in there? Well, go ahead and you can go to heartsdesireintl.com. That's heartsdesireintl.com if you're not on any of our lists, and type in your information so you can get the information to stay connected with us. We have a lot of really awesome, beautiful, powerful, amazing workshops coming up that you want to make sure that if 2025 is the year you're going to experience real love, that you are there. Okay. Everybody gets to have it. Not everybody knows how to get it. And that's what we're here for. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with this. You are worthy. You're worthy of love that is secure, passionate, and committed. You get to have all of it, not bits and pieces of that. And it starts with you claiming it. So I want to acknowledge you for showing up here for yourselves tonight. Go out there and be the prize that you are. And until our hearts meet again, always remember that you are loved. Goodbye for now.